More joy then.
Good evening, my friends, and welcome to my channel. I hope everyone who is playing RuneScape today is enjoying the Desert Treasure 2 release. And if you were like me today, trying to do the quest upon release, you found no videos about this particular part of the quest. This is the Scar, which is one part of the Desert Treasure 2 quest. And this part of the quest requires you to enter these passages inside the area, and inside these passages there are puzzles that need to be solved. I was trying to find a video of someone trying to show me how to solve these puzzles, but there weren't any, so I decided to make them myself. I am sure someone will make a more concise and better edited video to show how these passages are solved. But for those of you who are trying to do the quest upon release or haven't started it yet, then this video will have to do. So there are a few things to talk about before we go into the third passage. The first one is, some of you might have clicked on this video and you haven't solved the first and second passage because you just started. If you haven't solved the first or second passage, I have made 2 videos about them, which you can find in the description box down below. Feel free to pause and then come back to this one once you've solved the first passage, which is located here, and the second passage, which is located here. The other thing that we need to go through is the things that we need to bring with us into the third passage. So, to go into the third passage, we need a face mask or a Slayer helmet. I'm using a face mask, but a Slayer helmet will suffice. And the reason why we are bringing this in with us is because when we go into the third passage, which is located here, we will be going down and there will be smoke there which will be doing some damage to us. I assume if you weren't wearing a face mask or a Slayer helmet, then the smoke would kill you very quickly. When you're down in the passage, the smoke will only do little bits of damage. The other thing that we're going to bring with us is a blowpipe, as there is a part of the puzzle where you have to defend a pillar from spawns and mobs that are going to come into the room. And so, without further ado, let's get into it. So, you've just come out of the second passage, and it's time to begin the third one. You need to talk to Wizard Purston first before you can begin the third passage. Feel free to skip through all the dialogue, and once you've done all that, we can go into the third passage. As you can see, there is a warning sign down here which will tell you about the smoke. Feel free to say I'll be alright and then go down. When you're down in the third passage, make sure to pray magic, as the demons down here attack with magic. So we're going to go northwest, and inside here there is a fleshy growth. When you inspect it, it will give you this gooey note. As you can see, I already got the gooey note, as this isn't my first time being down here. So once you've inspected that, you should have the gooey note. And when you have the gooey note, make sure to read it. The second thing that you can do in here is you can search this chest, and we might as well. And the scraps down here give back run energy, prayer, and HP, which is really useful. So now that we've done that, we're going to go to the first puzzle. The first puzzle is located over here, and it's another underwater puzzle like the second passage. So we can turn our protect from magic off whilst down here. We can loot this chest if we want to as well for more scraps, and we're going to take our weapon off. And as you can see, the choke is indicating that I am getting damaged passively down here because of the smoke. Don't worry about it, just make sure to sip your brews or scraps when necessary. So let me explain this room. So as you can see, there are air bubbles inside the room. When you're inside this room, a bar is going to appear above your head, and when it goes down, this indicates you're running out of oxygen. You need to go into the air bubble to make sure that you get your oxygen back. If you don't have any oxygen, you're going to fail the room will reset, and you'll get a little bit of damage as well. In the center, there is the abyssal stem. So let's go into the room and head over to the abyssal stem. And we're going to position ourselves in the air bubble beside the abyssal stem. So when you click the abyssal stem, these abyssal growths around the room are going to light up. And this is where we are going to use modern day technology to help us. I assume most of you are playing RuneLite, and I recommend you to use RuneLite. On RuneLite, there is a feature where you can hold the shift button on your keyboard and then you right click and you can mark a tile like so. And the reason why this is important is because this is a memory game. When you light the abyssal stem, these abyssal growths are going to light up in an order, and you're going to have to remember that order. To make it easier, whilst you touch the abyssal stem and watch the growths light up, you can mark the tile next to them so you know which growths that you have to go to, and this will make remembering the sequence and events that you have to follow easier to do. So let's click the abyssal stem and watch the abyssal growths really carefully. There's 1, there is 2, there is 3, and there is 4. So the first stem was down here, so we're going to go to that. And then we're going to go into this air bubble to get our oxygen back. Then we're going to press this abyssal growth here. And then we're going to use this air bubble to get our air back. Then we're going to go to the air bubble next to the abyssal stem to get our oxygen back again. Press the abyssal growth there. Go back to the air bubble. And then finally we're going to solve the puzzle by pressing this abyssal growth right here. This will solve the puzzle, which will remove you from the room. And that is that puzzle completed. Now, there are some things that I should tell you about this particular part of the puzzle before you try it as well, I just remembered. The first one is that if you mess up the sequence, it isn't always going to be the same. So, for example, this isn't my first playthrough. These abyssal growths were always the same for me, but the sequence was always different when I pressed the abyssal stem. So it's very important that you try and remember that sequence and get it right on the first time, because it can get a bit confusing if you fuck it up the first time. The second thing is that I believe this puzzle isn't always going to be the same. So these 4 abyssal growths probably aren't going to be the same as yours. You might get this abyssal growth, for example, which wasn't the ones that lit up for me. And so using the mark tile feature that I just spoke about is really, really useful here. So now that we solved that puzzle, it's time to move on to the second one. And this is why we are having the blowpipe with us. This is the puzzle that I told you about, where we're going to be defending this pillar at the end of the room. Hellhounds and greater demons are going to spawn into the room, and it's your job to range them down. The greater demons and hellhounds are going to be attacking 4 antibodies, demons that look like demons from the abyss that are going to be surrounding the pillar, and the antibodies are going to be healing the pillar, and it's your job to make sure that they don't die. And there's going to be a HP bar that appears above your head, and you have to defend the pillar until the HP bar is full, and when the HP bar becomes full, that will be when you've solved the puzzle. So we're going to go in, we're going to use Rigor, and we're going to kill the Hellhounds. I recommend to always range down the Hellhounds first before ranging down the Greater Demons, as the Greater Demons and Hellhounds seem to hit virtually the same, but the Hellhounds seem to be easier to kill than the Greater Demons. There is a Greater Demon. As you can see, I focused the Hellhound first, and then I'm going to get on the Greater Demon now. As you can see, it's much harder to kill than the Hellhounds. And as you can see, the antibodies are healing the brain pillar, and you have to make sure it gets to 200 HP to be able to do this puzzle. Very simple. Don't worry if an antibody does die, so long as you manage to keep at least one alive, you'll be good. So far, during my previous attempts at these rooms, one antibody always died. Don't worry if that happens. It's not a problem. So this brain pillar is nearly done, and this puzzle will be almost finished. We still have 2 antibodies left, so plenty of time, plenty of space to finish the room. And as you can see, we finished the puzzle, no problem. So we're going to pick up our darts from the ground if you use the blowpipe. I have dragon darts, so I don't want to waste that money. And we're going to exit this room. And we're going to use this neural teleporter over here. And now we're going to make our way all the way to the east to this neural teleporter here, the green neural teleporter. And this is going to bring us to the final puzzle. And the final puzzle entrance is over here. You can loot this chest here as well for more scraps. I'm going to do that. As you can see, the demon attacks with magic. So, in this room, we are going to replicate a similar puzzle from one of the other passages. It's basically the same thing as the ruin puzzle, I believe, from the first passage, where we're going to go in, we're going to protect from melee, and we're going to take these orbs from the top of these leeches. I'm going to use it on the damage growth. And as you can see, this vine appears when we use the orb on these growths. So we are going to first light up the entire room by taking the orbs off the leeches and then using them on the growths. And this is why we protect from melee, because if you fail, the leeches can do bits of damage to you. Now that the room is fully lit up, as you can see, these little things down here have done damage to the vines. So we now have to repair the vines. So to repair the light vine, you kill the white things here and then use it on the things, on the bits of the vine that were damaged by it. So that is one part of the vine done. This is the second part of the vine that's been fixed. That is the other part of the vine fixed, and now we're going to fix the red one. Just to make it a bit quicker, we're just going to get the 3 parts that we need. I assume that these white and red things on the ground here can re-damage the vine. If that happens, just adjust and adapt accordingly to repair the vine again that was damaged. But so far, I've only had to kill 3 and repair it 3 times. And after this last vine, this puzzle finishes and the room is complete. So now that we've completed that puzzle, we've solved all the puzzles, and now we just need to find the final thing. Let's loot this crate here to get another scrap. And there is a crate somewhere in this passage that we have to find. So we're going to look for the crate really quickly. By crate, what I mean is not a chest, but an actual crate. There is the crate here. I've already looted this crate, but I'm showing it for you for the purposes of the video. That was where the crate was, and it gives you one of these tablets. And now we're going to go to the shipwreck. So let's go back to the neural teleporter, which will bring us back near the entrance. And this is where the shipwreck is. Just like the other passages, we're going to search these skeletons. Before we do that, I'm going to just click through these tablets in my inventory really quickly. I'm not sure which one it was that was from the crate that I just showed you, but we're just going to go through that quickly just so that the game knows that we've clicked on them and our character has the information so we can progress through the quest. So this skeleton gives the slimy key. We use the slimy key on the chest, which gives us a damp tablet, which we will read. There's a skeleton down here. That gives us the gunpowder. This chest over here will have a tinderbox. I already have a tinderbox in my inventory, but if you didn't bring one with you, this crate gives you one. Now we can burn the shipwreck. And there we are. That is the third passage done. So that was all 3 passages now done for the scar. We can move on and progress with the rest of the quest. My plan is to create another guide for the shadow part of the quest. There is a puzzle known as the shadow area or something in this quest. I'm going to tackle that off video, and then once I've solved it, I will make a video about that as well and upload a similar one like this. That puzzle looks really long, so it's probably going to be a lot longer than these passage videos that I made about the scar. But with that being said, that is the end of this video. That is all 3 passages now done if you've followed all my guides and playthroughs. And thank you very much for watching. I would ask anyone who has reached the end of this video and found this video helpful to subscribe to the channel. I upload regularly every week at 6 PM GMT. I upload PKing and PVM and skilling. I do all kinds of things in the game, and I would appreciate your subscription and viewership. With that being said, I would also like to direct you as well to a PKing video that I made earlier today about KOS, which is a pure clan that I am in the middle of fighting in the pure scene. And so with that being said, there's nothing left to say. I'm going to end the video here, so I stop rambling on, and I'll see you in my next guide, which should hopefully be about the shadow puzzle.